All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys Emergency Episode, Saturday, November 6th. Fuck it. It's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio, Pat.
Yeah, I am Pat. You're Clayton, and this is a full-on DEF CON, whatever is the highest DEF CON alert. Netflix owns Warner Brothers now.
Not 100% officially. Not that there could be people
appealing
it,
and blocking it,
yeah.
And it's probably a year or two of paperwork, even if it does go through. But they won the bid. They won the sweepstakes.
Yes.
Remember when a baseball player is a free agent, it would always be the sweepstakes for them? It would be like the Alex Rodriguez sweepstakes.
Yes.
Who's going to sign him? But sweepstakes is if like you win something for free. That's a sweepstakes. Like you
this sweepstakes means you have to pay billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. So it's like $80 billion, which at a point it's all pretend money. You could say Netflix bought Warner Brothers for $1 billion, quadrillion, zillion dollars. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But the main thing is they own Batman. They own Tony Soprano. They own Ross, Rachel, Chandler Bing, Joey Tribbiani, Phoebe, what's her last name?
Buffet.
Phoebe Buffet, and Monica Geller. They own Friends. They own the Joker. They own Bugs Bunny, or did he already get sold to Ketchup Entertainment? I forget.
That's the biggest question mark is where does Bugs land?
Yeah, and all the reporting going on about this $80 billion deal, I have not seen Bugs Bunny's name come up once.
Well, in the email I received from Netflix,
okay,
they did not mention any of the Looney Tunes characters, but they did mention the popular franchise Casablanca.
Okay,
we all know as a popular franchise.
The franchise. So Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix, I don't have this statement in front of me. He basically said something along the lines of now Casablanca, Citizen Kane, and Stranger Things and the Squid Game are all in the same IP family.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we're going to be able to have an episode in season 8, batch 14 of Stranger Things, where Casablanca shows up.
Well, that was a different statement. This is the email I got from Netflix.
Okay.
They talked about Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO Max and HBO. This unites our leading entertainment service with Warner Brothers' iconic stories, bringing some of the world's most beloved franchises. Not films, obviously, just franchises.
These are franchises. These are IP. The Citizen Kane IP is finally housed next to the Stranger Things teenagers.
Harry Potter, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Casablanca, Game of Thrones, and the DC Universe together with Stranger Things, Wednesday, Squid Game, Bridgerton, and K-pop, Demon Hunters, which is really all of this is it's funny because Casablanca is thrown in there as an afterthought. That literally was whoever did this statement, whatever AI bot they have, went through its directory and was like,
select 2 old movies.
No, select one. You keep saying Citizen Kane. That was in a different thing.
Different statement.
That was a different statement.
From a different AI chat.
This is they were like Citizen Kane. That's not a franchise.
Yeah.
Casablanca, that's the franchise.
It didn't test well in the first email they sent out. People were not clinging to the IP that is Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, that they just pull out the sled from Citizen Kane? They just pull out Rosebud and give Rosebud a spinoff on Netflix? Do you think that's a good use of that Citizen Kane IP?
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's just a Rosebud show.
I mean, I think it's. I think they're probably going to have. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have a spinoff where it's like 11 from Stranger Things just riding the sled.
Just right, yes, and levitating on it. And listen, right now, there, this content that we're creating, it'll end up somewhere, and there'll be someone on a message where says, "That's a great idea. These guys had a great idea to have 11 ride the Rosebud sled."
Mm-hmm.
and they'll love it. And you know what? I guess that's the future. Is Citizen Kane as an IP on an episode of the Squid Game?
Yeah.
Not even the Squid Game. This is the Squid Game
Game
reality show game show.
Yeah.
Is going to be integrated with the IP of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
And it's almost this.
Was this foretold a few years ago by Space Jam Legacy? I think that is a movie that came out, I think, July 2021? Was that like that first summer out of COVID?
It was
Theaters
definitely
are
day
open.
and date on HBO Max.
On HBO Max. That is an artifact that I think we all need to go back and study, because it really did foretell this deal. I mean, if you remember that movie at all, the Looney Tunes and LeBron James, they play basketball, and they're surrounded by Warner Brothers IP in the crowd. So you see, I think Austin Powers was there because he's New Line Cinema, so he's Warner Brothers IP. You see the Droogs from Clockwork Orange. They're watching it. I think the professor from Harry Potter is there. But that movie really did foretell what is happening now, because basically everyone from that crowd, and go back and watch Space Jam Legacy, they are now Netflix IP. And I think Rick from Casablanca was probably there watching that game.
He was like, we'll always have the Monstars versus LeBron James.
Yeah.
That's what he says to the woman.
Yes.
That's what he'll say now.
Yes, that's what he'll say.
In the next
and he'll do
entry
a
in the
slam
franchise.
dunk. Yeah, on a Squid Game challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it is very... nothing... You can't come up with a dumb enough integration of these characters that won't happen.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
there's no element... We could try to come up with the dumbest crossover of a Netflix character and a Warner Brothers catalog character, and it will happen.
Yeah. Okay, how about this? Netflix now owns The Sopranos. And listen, we're not Strumo guys, huh?
Well, you even said, listen, you even said on a past episode that you would do the Streamo Boys. You would do the podcast, the Streamo Boys.
We're going to see how
that's what's going to happen.
We're going to see how this acquisition, how everything lands.
And you're going to see me in the woods with a long beard,
yeah,
writing my manifesto.
Yeah. We'll see you on like weird footage that joggers take, and it's like, oh, there's Clayton. He's still doing a movie podcast out in the woods, and they'll send me that footage, and I'll use it on my Streamo Boy show just to be like, remember this guy? But we may go that route. But you could have. They now own Tony Soprano, Netflix. They're going to reboot that. They're going to use that IP. They're going to AI Gandolfini. Do you take Tony Soprano and have him drop by this an episode of Lilyhammer, the original Netflix show starring Steven Van Zandt from The Sopranos?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the move? Do you think they're thinking bigger with Tony Soprano? Netflix.
They're probably thinking bigger.
They're thinking
I don't
bigger
even know if
than putting-
Lilyhammer's still on the service.
Oh, I think that's the thing with Netflix. Everything's on the service and nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like, Lilyhammer is one that you really have to dig deep in there. Like, even putting Lilyhammer into a search, they're not going to put it up there right away.
Yeah.
You've really got to beg for it. But in terms of the movie business here, how much of a disaster, again, if this goes through, is this going to be? Because the big thing is Netflix does not put movies in the movie theater in a real way that they're going to say, oh, we put out 30 movies a year, but you put them out there in 18 theaters for a week and a half. That's not putting things in movies. Do you think they're going to let's start with, do you think Netflix is going to change now that they own the second biggest movie studio there is? Was Warner Brothers the biggest?
I don't know. Is Paramount?
I mean, there's the alert right there. You could probably hear it.
Yeah.
The alert is going out because this is an emergency episode.
This has been going on all weekend in Hollywood
and
in New York and in Tokyo.
Yes.
All the big cities.
Beijing.
Berlin. These beeps are warning about major changes in the entertainment ecosystem.
Yes, yes.
And so it'll happen.
I mean, Warner Brothers this year, easily the best movie studio we had. Weapons,
Yeah.
giant hit. Minecraft movie, giant hit. Final Destination Bloodlines, giant hit, perfect movie. One battle after another, probably going to win Best Picture. Did over 200 million worldwide. They are the model movie studio in 2025. Now Netflix owns them. So do you think year or two from now we're getting no Warner Brothers movies that get actual theatrical release?
Yeah, I mean, he's Ted Sarandos is already mentioned, and he's mentioned it previous. Like, you know who this guy is.
We know who.
And Zaslav doesn't care because Zaslav's a leech, and he's a businessman who failed his way to a big, big payday.
Yeah.
Because now he did exactly what he wanted to do.
I guess he didn't fail. His job was always to turn it into shit and to sell it and to leave with a bunch of money.
Well, yeah,
Like,
I mean,
there was no version of when Zaslav Discovery bought Warner Brothers where his actual goal was 10 years from now that company still exists and is just the best movie and TV studio.
No, he wanted to
in
sell
Hollywood.
it.
Yeah.
He wanted to be this is exactly what he wanted to do, and he succeeded in that front.
Yeah.
Any sort of success at the theaters was an accident.
An accident.
And
Barbie, they did Barbie a couple of years ago. None of that mattered.
Yeah.
Whether Barbie was a giant hit, which it was, $2 billion, or if it had come out and been Gem and the Holograms, in the end, none of that mattered to what David Zaslav's plan was.
No. And he left two smart people who cared about movies in charge.
Yep.
Long enough to have a great slate that paid off with original filmmaking.
Yep.
And now it doesn't matter because all that did was make the price of what he sold higher.
Yes.
So that he could sell it and get out. And then
Sinners. I forgot Sinners 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. So
incredible.
That all the people who are slurping Zaslav for anything movie related, that was just by accident.
Yes.
And a happy accident for him.
He's not even happy. I don't think he knew or cared. I think he.
Well, it's a happy accident in the sense that it made Warner Brothers look like a winner, so it could sell for more.
Yeah, possibly. But in the end, Netflix is buying this so that they could get Batman and they could get Superman and they could get, Beetlejuice and Monica and Chandler. Like, I don't think they're buying it for any more because Weapons was a hit this year, or because, and again, the alarms going off all over Hollywood because of this Netflix emergency. But I don't think that actually mattered to this sale. There's nothing that any of these movies could have done better or worse this year that would have changed what was going to happen here.
I think the thing that
they're buying the service, the HBO Max, and they're buying all the IP, and they're buying Casablanca IP.
Well, because they're actually only leasing Sinners, because Sinners will go back to Ryan Coogler in 30 years.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So they're leasing Sinners at this point.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure Ted Sarandos, he assumes he's going to be alive another 300 years because they all think they're going to put their heads in jars and they're all sucking blood from 8-year-olds or whatever it is these billionaires do.
I think the thing will be one of these heartless, artless, leech businessmen will try to buy back Sinners at some point to spite artists.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing is like maybe you're right. They probably actually don't even really care.
I don't think they care.
Because if it doesn't make them any money, they're not going to do it out of spite. They just want to acquire as much capital as they possibly can.
So I think that's one of the sad parts of this is there was nothing that Warner Brothers, these movies, the filmmakers could have done this year that affects what was going to happen to Warner Brothers and the sale, because none of that mattered.
Yeah.
The only thing was David Zaslav was always going to sell this and jump out a window.
So speaking of Sarandos, because we kind of got off topic.
Yeah, we got to
will
get back
he
to this.
will he release movies in theaters? No. He's already said that it's not consumer friendly to have windows at the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And that is always been his play. It will not change. Yeah, I mean, we're probably seeing the beginning of the end for theatrical. I mean, it really was looking like we were recovering and things were doing well, and I think it's just that there's a lot of people who don't want places like theaters to exist
Yes.
because they're gathering places.
Yes.
And as much as you can complain about, I go there and people have cell phones and blah, 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 and it's like, at least you're around people.
Yes.
And you can congregate, and the best theatrical experience will trump any terrible theatrical experience you have, because going to the theater is like living in a community.
Mhm.
You're going to be annoyed 80% of the time.
Yes, there's people.
And then 20% of the time, you're going to be like, this is amazing. I love that this is a communal experience.
Right.
That's life,
Right.
right? There's no community you can be in where 80% of the time you love every part of it.
Right.
Unless
right.
you're in a cult,
Yeah.
high on drugs.
I mean, even I would say there's probably nudist colonies if they have really, strong guidelines on behavior and if they are good about who they let in. I think there could be nudist colonies that you're in where you're like, I'm happy to be in this 99% of the time.
You would have to be extremely hot, and then everybody else be extremely hot.
Sure, if that's how you're one out of your nudist colony, but if you're yeah, I think there's people who are happy being in a nudist colony, and that alarm is alerting us. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about nudist colonies right now. I think that
You brought it up.
I brought it up, but then the alarm said, "Get off of this. Get off of this."
So the alarm is multifunctional.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the beeps, it's telling you different things.
So
It's Morse coded.
But that's the thing at the end of the day, is like, don't let anybody dissuade you from this, is that these tech monsters want you to be at home.
Yes.
Where you're only being entertained, because they even say it's like entertainment. They use that term.
Yeah.
Which used to be something that is, oh, great, I get to be entertained a part of my time, and then the rest of the time I'm in a community doing good things and being of service. Now entertainment is all we have. Everything is set out to entertain you in the sense of distracting you, right? And that's what this is about. Truly, this is what it's about.
Okay.
It's about no places for people to commune. Theaters are a place for people to commune, and they need to be abolished.
Wow. Okay, so you think it's more Ted Sarandos is more than just what he thinks is the right business model for movies. It is I want to trap you in your house.
Yeah, because if you're passive,
he's in cahoots with. You think Ted Sarandos, Uber Eats?
Yeah,
he's in cahoots with them.
If you are not in conversation with anything but yourself and these streaming services, then you just have a blinded view of society. And they can send you whatever they want through the boob tube,
right.
Or your laptop, or your cell phone.
Right. And your cell phone will be where you watch the reboot of Casablanca.
And there's no way to chart social change or people's interests, because you're passively paying for a subscription as opposed to going to a theater and plunking down your money for something, right? So like that, this is a barometer of people's tastes and what is culturally impactful, the theater. Netflix doesn't matter to anybody.
I mean, we're the BO boys. That's the whole thesis of what box office is. It's a way for people to say, this is what I like. This year, people put down their money and said, I like weapons. I like Sinners. I like a Minecraft movie.
I like CJ.
I like CJ. And that's what we could lose. So Netflix owns all of these IPs. They would be the ones who make a Minecraft movie part 2. And instead of going to a community, going to a theater,
with a big bag of popcorn.
Big bag.
Trash can full of popcorn and a couple raw chickens.
And then CJ comes on screen.
Yeah.
In the first movie, CJ comes on screen. It's communal pandemonium.
Yes.
Throwing popcorn in a loving way, a communal way, in a way that brings people together, lets people express themselves.
Yes.
Minecraft Movie 2 comes out 2 years from now on Netflix. It gets its 3 movie theaters for Academy Award consideration.
Yeah.
And otherwise, everyone who watches it is watching it at home.
You
And
throwing
CJ
popcorn
comes on
around your
screen.
den? Are you throwing a live? Are you throwing a cooked chicken at your flat screen TV? No, you're not.
I think what's going to be so sad is there will be some people who will have remembered where they were, went to the Minecraft movie, went to CJ screenings, thrown popcorn, thrown live chickens around, and they'll try and do that at home, try and recreate that with their kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it will just feel so sad and
Yeah.
embarrassing. And it'll just bring a tinge of sad. Like, I do think a Minecraft movie part 2 on Netflix will be one of the saddest things that happens that year.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a mix of people who just won't do that at all because they're at home, they're not going to throw popcorn. But then you will have some people who will try and recreate that
Mm-hmm.
by themselves. Think of just the, I don't know, imagine just like a single middle-aged guy who by himself went to the first Minecraft movie, a CJ screening, and he loved it. And he's by himself trying to recreate that in his apartment on Netflix.
Yeah, it's sad,
It's sad.
but that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
I mean, Weapons 2, it's going to be Netflix.
Well, I mean,
Barbie 2, Netflix.
Barbie 2. So Barbie 2 will be a Netflix movie. I mean, Ted Sarandos said when Barbenheimer happened, he said that those movies would have been just as big, if not bigger, had they just dropped on Netflix.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the world in which day and date Barbie and Oppenheimer both just dropped on a Friday on Netflix? By Monday, no one is thinking about either of those movies.
No.
I would say especially Oppenheimer.
Oh, especially Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer would get the same attention that a 5-part documentary. And you know what? That's probably Ted Sarandos trying to stop us from saying these truths, but I'm going to plow through that alarm. Oppenheimer on Netflix would have got the same attention as a documentary about Oppenheimer would have gotten.
But see, Oppenheimer
For a week.
But Oppenheimer isn't Warner Brothers, so it wouldn't have been. It would have been on Peacock.
It would have been on Peacock. Well, I'm just saying, just because we're talking about Ted Sarandos.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
yeah.
is like, yeah, if it was, do you watch Barbie on Netflix or HBO Max, or do you watch Oppenheimer on Peacock?
Sure, but I'm just saying
that was but what I'm saying, if that was the battle, it would have no cultural impact whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right?
Just them going to streaming though in general. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? The competition was them in theaters and either I want to see one or I want to see both.
Yeah, I want to see both. Yeah.
And the thing with the streaming thing is that if that was the battle, nobody would care.
I mean, is there any... I know we said there's no chance, but this is a pretty big change for Netflix in that they are pulling in this giant movie studio. Just so many... I mean, they're going to fire a ton of people. It's going to be awful because that's what these people do. But they are bringing in this huge distribution department. Warner Brothers does something that Netflix just never did do, which was distribute movies in movie theaters. So they have an infrastructure for that. They've got a lot. They've got all these parts of the business that Netflix is bringing in. And they're inheriting movies and properties that did $1 billion. Minecraft, Batman movies, all this. Is there any chance Netflix is going to say, okay, this now is a new era for what we do. We are going to put some of these movies in movie theaters. There's no way they're going to do what Warner Brothers did. They're not going to put a movie like Weapons or One Battle After Another into movie theaters. But is there still a chance where this will be like a new era for what Netflix does?
I don't think so. Either that or they'll put so much pressure on the theaters because the theaters need product. So whatever their whim is with theaters, if they're like, we want to put movies in theaters for a week and not promote them, but you have to take them because where else are you going to get movies? That's more likely.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think they'll use the theatrical arm for something, but it's not gonna be what Warner Brothers has been doing, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna be successful because they don't even promote the stuff on their own service. Like, Netflix doesn't even do enough promotion for their big splashy projects
Right.
that they pay millions and millions of dollars for.
Right.
So, they're not gonna no. I don't think they're just gonna let Warner Brothers do its thing separately.
No, they're not going to let it do its thing, but there was a time when Netflix and one of the streamable boys, but
Uh-huh.
they said there's never going to be advertising on Netflix. That was a big part of what Netflix was. You were never going to have commercials on there, and now there's commercials on Netflix. So they could change greatly what they do based on what the circumstances are.
But
So like when they make a new Batman movie in a couple of years, do you think they're not gonna put that Batman movie in 3,000 theaters and promote it the way you would a movie?
They might do. I mean, the
And
thing
forget
is,
like they're contractually
Okay, I was gonna
obligated for a
say,
certain,
yeah.
but like
Yeah.
past that,
it's
like
gonna
past the
past that
obligations.
past that no. The obligations will be the obligations, and then once those obligations are over, they'll find an excuse why it's just not consumer friendly. We found that out.
Yeah.
We found it out that it's not consumer friendly. People don't want to leave their homes. They want to watch things on the Toity. They want to watch things on their giant, supposed as good as movie screens, TV screens.
Right.
So yeah, no, they're going to eventually, and the thing that's gonna give them cover is that there's already contracts in place for some of these films, so they're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that for sure. They'll probably have to do stuff for a year or two. Whatever movies are Warner Brothers already had in production,
Yeah.
probably have deals tied to it. I mean,
But they want to grow Netflix as a service. They still want to grow it as the service that exists, and the only reason to buy these IPs is to service Netflix as the service.
But
and the service is zombieification. That's what they want.
but I here's my hope too, just in a business sense, is that they may have hit a ceiling.
They have hit a ceiling.
And you also could hit a ceiling not just with the amount of but if you hit a ceiling with the amount of subscribers, then you have to find new ways to make money. And that could be what Netflix just has to do going forward. And that means putting movies in movie theaters. If they've hit a ceiling where everyone who's going to buy Netflix has Netflix, and yeah, we could put HBO Max on there and raise the price, and now there's a Batman Stranger Things crossover, so we'll raise the price. But even that has a ceiling. So they may just look at, we've got to make money off of movie theaters, because if not, we can't be a bigger business than we already are.
And you always got to be bigger. Which
And you
I
always have to
understand.
be big.
That's the sick thing about this, is that the only hope we have is that they do what businesses do, which is try to get as big as possible,
Right.
to swallow everything up.
Right.
And like you're saying, if that is what they think is going to bring them more money and make them a bigger behemoth, then maybe theaters can survive. But the theater owners are going to be over the barrel.
They're going to be over the barrel.
And that's the thing, is
Yeah.
that they're going to have to, they're just going to be making so much less money with this.
Well, what are the ways in which, because you're right, Netflix, Warner Brothers Netflix is gonna want shorter windows on any of these movies.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do 45-day windows. But will it really matter if Netflix, Warner Brothers movies are 2-week if they put them out in 3,000 screens? It's like, we're going to do deals with AMC, with Regal. We're going to put them out in all the theaters. And if they do promotion for it. Like, I think that's the big if. Like, will Netflix promote movies when they put them in movie theaters? If they do that, and it is 14 days and then it's going to be on Netflix, how much of a disaster is that for theaters? With like I think that the thing is, like, for movies like a Minecraft movie and a Batman movie and certain movies, they're going to make their huge amounts of money those first 14 days. And then it'll drop off a lot when it goes to Netflix, but it might not drop off completely.
I think it would drop off more than the two PVOD window situation, because PVOD does not cut into
Right.
it does not cut into box office as much as quote unquote free streaming, or a service that you already subscribe to.
Right. Right.
So I think it's also the
But that might just be the reality of what it's going to be in a couple of years. Is Netflix will put 10 movies a year in wide release in theaters, but they're going to be on Netflix within 2 weeks.
but the
And
way
then theaters are going to have to figure out how to make that work.
but the way movies are coming to theaters is by trailers being in front of big movies. And so there's people who cannot see a movie the first weekend or the second weekend. Like that is the case in a lot of America. Is like, we're lucky because we live in New York City, the greatest fucking city on the planet, and we could walk 15 minutes to a theater either direction. Some people can't do that, and they can't get there. So 2 weeks in the theater is not enough for them to even see it.
Well, 2 weeks exclusive at the theater. If the deal ends up being the window is shortened, but a
I
movie could
understand what you
stay
mean.
out in theaters. So, like, if
But then
you
they-
want to
th-
forego Netflix and see it in the theater, it's just a different experience, and that's where we've been trending since COVID. Like, all of these studios.
But no, we were trending back. We were trending back to bigger
No,
windows.
Disney is doing bigger windows, but Universal, and I get PVOD hurts theaters less, but like Universal gets stuff on PVOD sometimes within 2-3 weeks.
But
So
PVOD is different than Netflix.
It's different than Netflix, but things are going to be what they're going to be if this deal goes through. And I think now theaters are going to have to figure out how to work with them and let them have the shorter windows
But theaters
to still get these movies in movie theaters. Because up until now, Netflix, according to, it does seem like Netflix would have put movies in AMC's and Regal's, but they were not going to give them the long window. So AMC and Regal just doesn't take those movies.
Yeah.
That's going to change. They're going to have to take those movies and deal with the shorter windows. And now can that work? Can theaters still just make enough money off of these big movies in the first couple of weeks? And will people still, if you get the choice and a movie is dropped on Netflix, but it's still in wide release, you could see it at your movie theater, then you have the choice of, well, I still want to see it in a movie theater. And then we're going to see what people do at that point.
Well, I think we know what people are going to do, because most people are staying home in all aspects of their lives, not just theater going.
I mean, you're sounding a little like Fran Lebowitz, who, I don't know if you saw her quote the other day. She made a big stink about how young people don't go to the movies, and the movie theaters are dying because young people don't go. And then they followed up asking her what movie she's seen in the movie theaters this year. And I forget which one, but she listed one movie that she saw in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Young people want to go to the movies. So I don't think it is a foregone conclusion that going forward, people are not going to want to go to the movies. And if they have the choice between watching something on Netflix or watching something in the movie theater, again, assuming that the movie's in wide release and you could see in the theater, especially young people, they're going to want to go to a movie theater.
But I agree with that.
Young people live in apartments where there's 17 of them in one room. They're going to want to go sit in a big screen.
Listen,
I think
I've said
older
this.
people don't want to go to the movies anymore.
I've said this. Listen, I've said this before many times, that people forget that young people don't have propriety over their lives.
Yeah.
A movie theater is the one place they can tell their parents they're going to go, that they're like, we know exactly where you are, and we know exactly what you're going to be doing watching a movie. And then they can just do whatever.
And
in the dark theater.
20-something-year-olds too, not just kids, teenagers live with parents, but I think
People with roommates.
people with roommates. And that's why I think that.
But here's the difference, Pat. Netflix movies, other than the ones that they shelled out big money to auteurs to make their service not seem as insidious as it is, right? These shills that took this money
Right.
To make Netflix into something that is respectable,
Right.
or at least appeared respectable.
Right.
The rest of their output is shit.
It's very bad. Yeah.
And so now that they have a catalog of IPs that people would actually want to see, that could actually be good, that's what's dangerous. Netflix never had anything that was competing with the quality of a Warner Brothers project at its finest.
Mhm.
Now they have it. And they'll probably destroy it and make it into shit.
Mhm.
But that is what's making it more tantalizing for people to stay home, is to see actually good product at home as opposed to Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's the other question of, now that Netflix owns Warner Brothers, who do they put in charge? Do Warner Brothers movies get worse because the Netflix people are in charge?
Yes, they will get worse.
Or now that Netflix has, I don't know, better executives, better development people, maybe they are going to turn out better movies. Who knows? But again, I do think that it's, if they do put movies in wide release with shortened windows, it's bad, obviously. But as long as those movies are still actually in wide release, people will have the chance to say, I'd still rather go see this in a movie theater than watch it at home. And I do think younger people are more apt to make that choice, not just teenagers, but people in their 20s and 30s who still actually like going out, getting away from their roommates, having a bigger screen, middle-aged people who have a big man cave viewing screen. That's not what a 24-year-old has. So I do think there will be people who will still go to the movie theater, even if it's home on Netflix.
Product to keep theaters alive. With Netflix only putting, like you said, 10 movies theatrically in, and then like nothing else. Like, that's the thing, is
will they make as many as Warner? I mean, it's not like Warner Brothers in the past few years was making 30 movies anymore.
No, they weren't. But what I'm saying is that that's just less guaranteed product in the theaters, and we're already struggling with product. We're not struggling with people going to the theaters. We're struggling with the product.
Well, okay, so Netflix makes a lot of movies. They make a lot of movies. None of those movies help movie theaters because they don't go into movie theaters.
Yeah.
I don't think Netflix, Warner Brothers is going to make less movies than what Netflix and Warner Brothers make now. Again, it depends on what will be their relationship with movie theaters.
So do you?
Because if movie theaters just deal with the fact that when you work with this company, we get a 2-week window before it's on the service, and they finally are like, fine, we'll put your stuff in movies. There is a world, and maybe I'm just trying to be the optimist here, there is a world in which then more movies end up in movie theaters because the theaters allow those shortened windows.
So
you know,
you
so
think
it's
that
like the
Netflix movies are going to end up? So you think Netflix now is going to, since the theaters are going to be over the barrel and have to acquiesce to 14-day windows, that then they'll put All the Boys I Loved Before 3 in theaters for 14 days, because who gives a shit?
Right. Part 2 of the Jason Bateman airport movie, whatever. What was that called? The Bag Man?
I don't know.
Bagger. Was it called Bagger?
Mark the Bagger? I don't know.
Whatever that movie was, part 2 comes out.
Baggage Claim?
Baggage. I think it was called. No, that's Alicia Silverstone. Though she has a movie on Netflix.
No, that's excess baggage.
Oh, it might be called Baggage Claim then. Anyway.
See, how memorable? How memorable
no, it's
is
terrible.
Netflix?
That movie stinks. But you know what? A lot of movies stink. But sure, that movie probably stinks more than most movies stink.
True.
But I think that when this goes through Netflix, Warner Brothers, it's all going to be the same movie studio. So they're going to make the amount of movies that they make. And maybe we just get a higher quantity of those, get some type of wide release. Again, it's going to be short in windows. It could be something like the Jason Bateman movie is in theaters for a week before it drops on Netflix. But if it's in 3,000 theaters and people
But it doesn't make
have a
sense
chance to
it doesn't make sense to release a movie for 1 week in 3,000 theaters.
Well, again, if they stay in that amount of theaters, but then they're also on Netflix, and then people have the choice to go see it. Again, I'm just trying to see a world in which, not that this is better than things are now, but that it's not a catastrophe. And I do think if Netflix and theaters just put more stuff in theaters, even if it has these super short exclusive windows, and people decide to go, that'll have to be the thing. If you have that choice to go see this movie in a movie theater or on Netflix, if people want to go to the movies, then they could go to the movies.
See, but the thing here, if you're wanting young people to go to the movies, Hollywood has to catch up very fast to their tastes because they have not done that. They have to see anime blowing up. They have to see video game IPs blowing up. They have to stop regurgitating 80s franchises that failed.
No Ghostbusters,
No
which is not part of this
Ghostbusters.
sale, I don't think. The Ghostbusters IP is not going to be on Stranger Things, even though Stranger Things
They're
basically
Paramount. is
the Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Ghostbusters is Paramount, right?
Yes. So that would have been the case, I guess, if Paramount bought Warner Brothers, then the Ghostbusters could have fought Casablanca.
But what I'm saying is that these other companies have to create product that these kids want to see, because if they don't do that in these ensuing years while this is being processed, then when those windows shorten and then what they're being offered is watered down bad versions of Warner Brothers IPs.
Right.
Like the Finn Wolfhard playing Batman.
Right.
Then and crappy Netflix movies that are now getting short theatrical windows because they have the mechanism, people will stop going to them.
Sure. But I mean, that's the sort of, you've got to make good movies that people want to see, which, yeah. I mean, and that's what Warner Brothers did this year. They made movies that young people wanted to see. They made Minecraft, huge video game movie. They made Sinners, cool horror movie. Final Destination, cool horror movie. Weapons, super geared towards.
I think you said Weapons twice.
Sinners.
Oh, you said
Final
Sinners first?
Destination,
Okay.
Yeah. And Weapons, like Zach Kreger knows how to make movies that young people think are cool.
Yeah.
So you could do it. Young people want to go to the movies, and I think we've seen examples where how to make movies that get them in, and they're the audience that's going to. They are the future of box office. They're going to be the ones that decide. If they stay home and just want to Netflix and chill, then yes, it's over.
Yeah.
But if they decide, hey, this is on Netflix, but it's also at my AMC 5 minutes away, I'll go see it in the movie theater, then it could work out.
And we'll
work out.
And we'll talk about this tomorrow. I don't want to give anything away.
No.
We are going to have a full episode tomorrow.
This is just an emergency episode. That's why the alarms have been going off, because it's an emergency.
Five Nights at Freddy's was a day and date movie on Peacock, and it still did $80 million its opening week in the first one.
Exactly.
This sequel is shaping up to not be as big, obviously, but still very big, right? And so there are franchises that kids want to see.
Yes, that's the perfect example. Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously Peacock is a Netflix, so many more people have Netflix.
Yes.
But that is a movie where you could have watched it at home, and because it was for young people, they wanted to see it in a movie theater. So that is going to be the type of movie coming out of Netflix, Warner Brothers, that could still help movies. is that type of, I mean, I think stuff like movies that are really targeted at older people. I think, we've been seeing the end of the adult drama the last few years, and this is going to be another nail in that coffin because
Yes.
that's the type of movie that people are just going to watch on Netflix. Warner Brothers puts out the equivalent of a Richard Gere movie.
Yeah.
You watch that on Netflix. I don't
And
know who
then-
the Richard Gere of who is the Richard Gere of today. I mean, I guess most actors are basically in that category at this point.
Richard Gere. I mean, I guess.
Just like a sturdy, he's always for the older audience actor. But I mean, like a George Clooney, which is already, George Clooney is a Netflix actor.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but you started talking about George Clooney, and now I got distracted. But.
Yeah. But all to say, that type of movie is probably more dead today than it was last week.
And that has been more turned into the 6-episode boring ass television version of an adult film.
Yes.
That people can be on Twitter or on, Facebook or whatever while they half watch it because it keeps hitting the same beats every episode.
Yeah.
And is drawn out. That's what adults want to do with their time.
Yeah, kids want to go see. So I think there is a future, and it can't just be, like you said, it can't be just mining old IP because the kids will reject that. But there is a future in which Netflix, Warner Brothers puts out their however many movies a year in theaters, wide release, and kids still want to go, even if it's on Netflix in a week.
Well,
but the promotion is going to be the big thing. Like, will they now have...
They need to know it's in theaters.
They need to know it's in theaters, but... And you're going to see in that first year or two how Netflix handles these departments that they're inheriting, because they're going to be inheriting an actual publicity department, an actual department that knows how to do brand partnerships.
Yes.
And so is Netflix going to look at these experts in the field who know how to get you Happy Meal deals, who know how to partner you with Buick and
Windex.
Volkswagen and Windex, yes, and all these brands, and are they going to keep them and empower them to make these brand partnerships for their movies, or are they going to toss them to the street? Because if they toss your brand partnership department to the street, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
And I will be on their ass if they are letting go of brand partnership experts.
Oh, yeah.
At Warner Brothers.
They probably will.
But if they keep them and say, you know what, finally, we have people who know how to make brand partnership deals, then that's a good sign. Because, and again, like we said, Netflix, part of why you make this deal is because you're hitting a ceiling with what you're already doing. I mean, that's the hope. The other side is Ted Sarandos is making this deal just to kill movie theaters, and then,
but
it is what it is.
Yes, but there's a two birds, one stone situation to this too.
But you do hit a ceiling. If you destroy the theatrical business, maybe you do drive some more people who didn't get the service or who wouldn't pay the higher rate to do it. But even then, you still hit a ceiling, and if, as opposed to if Netflix decides every year we want to have a couple of movies that make $1.5 billion, that's a way for them to be a bigger company.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic that A, they'll still put movies in wide release, and B, people, especially young people, will go see them in the theater, even if they're also on Netflix at the same time.
And I think this is also, and theaters are struggling, and they have been because they don't have product.
And Ted
things like
Sarandos is
that.
like, I don't care if you're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're struggling.
Yeah.
I think that theaters have been making the move towards better seats, all those things, right? I mean, but I think you need to ramp this up. I think you need to,
IMAX.
like IMAXs, like we said, you have to just make the IMAXs we've talked about as we beat this drum. That is going to be the game changer. You got to get rid of some of these small, crappy screens
Mm-hmm.
with bad seats and just make them into IMAXs. If there is less screens in America, but more IMAX screens, then you could survive.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
more
make it a-
Dolbys.
You love Dolby. Whatever.
I
with
love Dolby.
Go fuck yourself with that Dolby. Who cares?
I love Dolby.
It's IMAX. You just like because
The-
you can put your feet up in the balcony. That's the only reason you like Dolby.
Particularly, yes.
Not all Dolby
link-
theaters have balconies, so therefore Dolby doesn't mean shit to
It means
anybody.
the colors are sharper.
That's
The blacks are blacker. The whites are whiter. The all the colors.
no
are
balcony,
more-
no place to put your feet. Do you like Dolby?
Yes, still
No,
love
you
it.
don't. You're a liar.
Love it.
That's a lie.
I still love it.
834.
Don't know what that is.
That's a lie.
Not a rallying cry.
So, but we've talked about this before about, really go for what the gamers want, really go for like gamifying the soda machines, different things you can eat there. Like, I think you really have to step up all these things. Make the lobby an experience.
Yes. The theaters are going to have to, and it's been the case for, listen, it's been the case since home video was invented.
Yeah.
Theaters have to give you something that watching it at home doesn't, or watching it on Netflix doesn't. And that was an easier case to make when people just had 13-inch black and white TVs, and it's a harder case to make now, but that is what they have to do. And now more than ever, this should be a rallying cry, because 834 is not a rallying cry, but this needs to be a rallying cry for theaters today to say we are going to build more premium screens, IMAXs, Dolbys, 4DXs, and soup up these lobbies, get better food. I know that President of AMC says that he gets the best corn. Talks a lot about he goes and he picks the corn himself, gets the best corn. And AMC popcorn is good. I got nothing against their popcorn. But more than ever, the theaters have to be a premium experience.
And you've talked about Japanese toilets.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, calm
Yes.
down. But
Yes.
we've talked about the
We are
Japanese
YouTubers.
toilets.
Hey, guys, we're about to talk Japanese toilet.
Okay, so you finally woke up.
Yeah.
Now, Japanese toilets, great. But what about this? Even in your home theater,
Mm-hmm.
you have to leave your living room to go to the bathroom. Now, what I'm saying
I love it.
is that why is there not kiosks inside the theater, in the back of the theater,
Oh, you're going
where
that
you
way.
have toilets, Japanese toilets,
Mm,
where you can still see the movie?
okay.
You have a view hole or like an area that is open,
Yeah.
that is like a mirror.
I
that
like it
only
being a
you
hole.
can
I like
see
it being a
through,
hole.
But no one can see in,
Yeah.
right? You can see out,
Mm,
and you don't miss anything. And you
mhm.
got the Japanese toilet, and you're right there, and you're not missing the experience, because the only way you could do that at home, if you have your streaming service linked up to your phone, so then you take your phone, but it's not the same screen. If they have toilets
Yes.
inside the theater, right? Then you could, if you want to, this is disrespectful to the other patrons, but you could stay in there the whole time and be
Right.
on the toilet and enjoy
Right.
the movie, right?
Right.
Now, I would say if you want to do that, that is something that you book ahead of time
Mhm.
and you buy with a premium. You say,
Mhm.
I want to be on the toilet
the entire
the
time.
entire time.
Yes.
So I want to watch Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be on the toilet the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Then you book that. They have a specific toilet that is the private toilet that you can book. The rest are available to the public. You cannot book
There's
them.
the A-list toilet, and then there's the non-A-list
Exactly.
toilet. Yeah.
Right. And so this is something that they should
Mhm.
implement,
Yeah.
because it's something you cannot do at home.
You can't do it at home. Yeah. I love that. And it's the type of thing that if you're a young person, and again, the 45 and up crowd, for the most part, they're going to watch stuff on Netflix. They love their Uber Eats, and they're not going anywhere, and that we've lost them.
Yeah.
But the 20 and 30-year-olds, the teenagers, that's the type of thing that makes them think, this movie is also on Netflix, but I could instead watch it on the toilet in a movie theater at
I
an
could watch an
AMC.
IMAX movie on the toilet.
On the toilet. Yeah. I that's the kind of thing right now these movie theaters they should have been working on this stuff for years.
That's the problem.
But this is the emergency. This is the emergency episode. This is an emergency for theaters.
The sirens should be going off in their boardrooms.
Yes. I've been trying to be optimistic in this episode. Obviously, there was no good case scenario. Once Warner Brothers was going to be sold, there was no landing spot where it's not a problem for theaters. I guess like if Apple bought them and said we're going to just keep doing business
because Apple just doesn't matter. Yeah, they honestly would have just been like, do what you do.
Do what
we
you
just
do.
Own
Yeah.
you. And never forget that we own.
And
you.
they would have just turned Apple TV Plus into HBO, and I think that
merge that.
Yeah, that would have been the best case scenario. Any of the other ones, Universal buying them, Paramount, it still would have been two studios combining.
Yeah.
And you just would have got less movies. There is the world in which this is the least terrible thing for the movie theaters. If, again, Netflix, Warner Brothers puts more stuff into theaters in wide release, even with the shorter windows. And somehow theaters are able to make that work. But theaters do just have to make the case then that you'd rather see it here than at home.
Yes.
And they've got to figure out how to make that an appealing choice.
And, we are A-listers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
And that is a service that, like Netflix, I mean, I can go to a movie anytime I want. I don't even think about it because it costs me I live in New York City and it costs me $30 a month.
Right.
And I can see 4 movies a week in any format.
Right.
That, to me, is the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, everybody talks about, I took my family to the blah, blah, blah. It's like, just everybody get A-list because you're going to save money and it'll make you go to the theater more, or it won't because it's like a gym, it's like a gym membership and it won't, but the theaters will still have your money.
Yeah, it's the probably height of box office in this era has been the Movie Pass era.
Yes.
The late 2010s and that coincided with the Marvel, height of Marvel. That was as good as it gets for box office.
There was documentaries that were making $15 million when they would have made $2 million.
Right.
Because people had Movie Pass and they said, I'll go to that Mr. Rogers documentary.
And these movie theater chains, AMC's the biggest, but Regal's huge, Cinemark, all these different chains. It's very hard to figure out. And obviously Movie Pass exists now and is just some kind of crypto scam. But I do think that's part of it, is figuring out how to make this more affordable for people to go. And some kind of combined subscription service is probably the most enticing thing that you could do.
Yeah.
If there was, because not everyone has an AMC near them, but they have a Regal. Not everyone. If they figured out how to work together to just let people go to more movies for less money.
Well, if Netflix, that's the thing too. If Netflix wants to get in the theatrical business, then do you have a tier once, the Warner Brothers, this deal goes through? Do you have a deal with theaters where part of the subscription to Netflix is you get a certain number of movie tickets for a Netflix / Warner Brothers movie?
Yeah, that could be a thing that happens.
And you make it a tier where the theaters get a piece of that.
Yeah, I definitely think that could be something that they end up doing. The theaters are going to have to play ball with Netflix now. They're, ass over tea kettle. They are in a bad spot and they just got to take it. But then they got to make it work for them. And there's ways that I think that could work for them. And there's ways that maybe theaters could get more product in the movie theater than they have been getting before from the combined Netflix and, because again, Warner Brothers, these movies were giant hits. They were the best studio. But they probably put out 12, 15 movies in wide release this year, right? It was the big hits, and then those like first couple of months was
Alto Nights.
Alto Nights,
The
and
Alto Nights.
the Alto Nights, Mickey 17, a couple of other flops, and then the string of big hits. So there's a world in which you could still get that many movies every year from the Warner Brothers division of Netflix. And maybe you could get more Netflix original movies in wide release, but you're just going to have them for 2 weeks exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
hope
again,
for it.
And then the middle-aged people aren't going to go, but they weren't going anyway. Fran Lebowitz wasn't saving movie theaters.
Yeah,
that was never going to happen.
But did she say I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025?
That was
the one she saw?
That was the one movie she saw. Yeah.
And then she was like, she was like, not my Ray.
Yeah, she couldn't believe they did
Ray.
it to Freddie.
Yeah,
she couldn't believe it.
Not my Ray.
So yeah, I think that it's possible this isn't the end of movie theaters if it goes through. Also, it's possible this doesn't go through because there's going to be challenges to it.
Yeah, Paramount's making some noise.
Paramount's making a lot of noise. They got friends in high places.
Mm-hmm.
This could not happen.
Yeah.
But
it's going to tie things up. I mean, if anything, it's just gonna if it doesn't happen, or if it goes to whatever arbitration, whatever you want to say is, it's just gonna tie things up for a while. It's just gonna be a headache for everybody.
Yeah. If One Battle After Another wins Best Picture at the Oscars this year, should the producers, because David Zaslav's going to want to hold that trophy, Warner Brothers movie, he's going to want to say, look at what I did on my way out. I won an Oscar. Should they on stage tell him to go fuck himself?
Yep. That's a reason, honestly, I'm saying to camera,
wow.
That's a reason not to give it Best Picture.
Wow. So you're going full Hamnet now. You're saying don't give it to One Battle After Another because David Zaslav will be happy. Instead, give it to Hamnet so that Fox Searchlight gets to have an Oscar for Bob Iger.
Ugh. No. I'm trying to think of what the best... I mean, there's just no best case scenario for the Oscars this year, I don't think. I'm trying to think what else would be even have a shot.
Because the other ones are Warner Brothers, because it's Sinners, right? Who put out Sentimental Value? Is that an A24 movie? That might be an A24 movie.
I don't know if that's A24. Give it the Sentimental Value, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
But I think we're probably going to get confronted with that. It's probably going to be One Battle After Another wins Best Picture.
So you think PTA, if they win Best Picture, he wins Best Director, he thanks Zaslav?
Or he tells him to
fuck off. Or does he says the reason why this was a success was because of the theaters, so don't ruin that, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, is that going to be the biggest cause that is worked into speeches at the awards this year, is theaters? I'd love to see that. I'd like to see some like pins, wear some like popcorn pins on tuxedos. I mean, I think that's the direct to camera. Hey guys, hey Hollywood, wear a popcorn pin when you're on the red carpet now to show your support for movie theaters. I think that is and you could have all different causes, a lot of things that we want. Ribbons, causes, special earrings that mean something.
Sashes.
Yeah, sashes.
Sandwich boards.
Yes.
No actors wear sandwich boards to the Oscars. I'm surprised.
That would get a lot of attention for your specific cause.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a sandwich board or one of those signs that you flip around.
Yes. Or if they brought one of those like inflatable dancing men that in front of a car wash, like,
as their date.
You bring that and then you say,
and it's just like this, and it's like got whatever your cause is on it.
Yeah, and then when Melissa Rivers asks you about your date, you say, well, my date is here in support of ending world poverty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it would get a lot of attention because it's your date is an
And
inflatable
it's just doing the
dancing man from a car wash.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they should wear popcorn bucket pins to show their support for movie theaters.
Yeah.
That would be a powerful statement. That would be a powerful statement if Paul Thomas Anderson win Best Picture and says, Ted Sarandos, I just want you to, and he points at the popcorn bucket pin.
Yeah.
Is Ted Sarandos going to claim Netflix has won a Best Picture if One Battle wins it in March?
Yeah. Oh, of course he will. Of
He
course
will claim that as Netflix's first Best Picture win that he's been chasing for the last 15 years.
Yes. Of course he will.
Um,
There's no winning if that movie wins. Now,
wow.
we all lose if that movie wins Best Picture.
So this has become like a great, because you love being against something. So this is a thing now you get to be
well, if
against.
you're for everything, you're never against anything.
Right.
Is what I say.
But you're against One Battle winning Best Picture because of this merger.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's no winning.
Great.
Because either Zaslav gets some sort of credit for this, and Ted Sarandos gets credit for this because he'll take it.
Right.
So this is not a movie you want to win in this year.
Right. But it is the guy who directed The Master and There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights winning an Oscar.
And Phantom Thread.
And Phantom Thread, yeah.
He'll get another shot. You're telling me this guy's not going to get another shot to win Best
So
Picture?
you'll root for him as long as he wins that Oscar for Universal.
Yeah, if he takes his talents, if he takes his talents to Universal, which the movie he puts out will be in on PVOD in 14 days or whatever.
Right.
Still, but yes, I do think that it will have to be his next project.
Okay.
That I will root for.
This is going to be a great story for the next 4 or 5 months on BO Boys, is following your campaigning against One Battle after another.
Bring back the muckraking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're going to be covering this. It's going to be an ongoing story, but we had to get this out there because the listeners were dying. How am I supposed to feel about this? What am I supposed to think? Now you know how you're supposed to feel about this.
Yeah, you're supposed to feel terrible about it or delusionally hopeful.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
That's good.
I'm trying to be optimistic. Obviously, the best case scenario would have been Warner Brothers getting sold back to AOL. That would have been great.
Yeah.
If AOL's like, listen, we sold all of the plastic that we used to make all those CDs we used to send out, and we're sitting on actually a ton of cash again.
Yeah, we want another shot.
We want another shot. We're going to buy Warner Brothers.
That's the redemption story.
Yes. That's a movie right there. If AOL found a bucket of money, and whoever it is that third cousin of the who inherited the remains of AOL, found a bucket of money, bought Warner Brothers back, and then won Best Picture. That would have been a great story.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, PTA thanking AOL.
Yeah. That would have been great. But it's not what happened here. It's not what happened. So yeah, email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Actually, we should just announce this real quick because we want to do a mailbag episode, a bigger mailbag episode than we've ever done. A full-on, the entire episode is mailbag. So email us your questions, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com in the next week or so, because we're going to be doing a very special mailbag-only episode. Ask us things about current events in the movie business, and, ask us the bigger, broader questions that you've always been wanting to ask the BO Boys. Ask it in this mailbag.
Or ask personal questions. We don't talk about our personal lives, but why not ask us questions if you feel like it?
Great. Ask me questions about Clayton, and I will be honest about what his life is like.
I would say ask questions about us and aim them at us
Well,
like,
that the
like-
person would answer about their own life.
yes.
See, I think it's more interesting if none of the questions are about my personal life. They're all about yours, but I answer them for you.
Whatever gets engagement.
Exactly. So ask us.
Like you said, it's an attention economy.
Yes. Yes. And I think I'll make sure that we succeed in the attention economy. So ask us questions about the movie business, box office, Clayton's life to be answered by me. The
Yeah.
BO Boys podcast.
Questions
at
about
gmail.com.
834.
Not a rallying cry. Don't know what that is. So there will be no questions answered about whatever it is Clayton just said, because it's a thing that doesn't exist. So you can't answer questions about something that's not real and not a rallying
834.
cry.
Right there. Put it in.
Cannot be put in because it doesn't exist.
Right in there.
I will put it in to the level that it exists, which means it will not be there at
Right
all.
there.
Right?
It's like a fly.
Yes. Nothing will be flying around as you move
I'm
your head
trying to grab it.
spastically. Yeah. So email us, theboboyspodcast at gmail.com, and that is it. The emergency episode is done.
Pat,
Done.
you've said it all.
Yeah.
You've denied even more.
Yes.
834.
Not a rallying cry.
There's nothing left to be said.
Right.
Except for, until next time,
We'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.